Chapter 12, The Scavenge Mission. After a rough start at the wrong end of a couple of rifles, Sue had fallen into a routine with her new group. Several weeks had passed, and she had found a new home in a secure camp. The survivors were kind, supporting each other, thriving in this new world. They incorporated her into something larger than herself, a community. Their support helped her regain some of the hope and optimism she had lost after the EMP attack. Not everyone was evil. Even with this newfound sense of belonging, life in the post-apocalyptic world proved challenging. They planted gardens inside their fence walls, tending to the precious crops. People volunteered to work the fields instead of being forced into labor. But the growing population required additional resources. Plants only grew so fast, no matter how much care you gave them. Plus, they needed items that they couldn't grow in a garden. This required small groups of scavengers to venture outside the safety of the camp to gather those vital items. Sue wanted to help any way she could, but venturing outside the walls terrified her, even when traveling in the company of others. She had run into nothing but trouble outside the safety of the camp. The first time the leaders asked for volunteers, Sue ran behind the shed, puking her breakfast into the dirt. She spent the rest of the week avoiding anyone from the scavenge teams, hoping to avoid their notice. Life in the post-apocalyptic world wasn't a panacea, but Sue longed for the security inside of the camp's walls. Everything changed the day Melody suffered an injury while out on a supply run. The scavenge team returned early, empty-handed. A double failure. Two of the men propped up Melody between them, like they competed in some sort of multi-legged race at a child's picnic. Melody's foot pointed at an unnatural angle below her swollen and bruised ankle. One look at Melody's deformed leg caused butterflies to take flight in Sue's stomach. She knew Melody would never walk again. Someone would have to take her place. Sue knew they would ask her to join the team. That evening, the village leader approached Sue, volunteering her for the next scavenge mission. Because of Melody's injury and the crew not returning with any supplies, they would depart at dawn. No time to prepare. Sue tossed and turned all night. Sleep eluded her. Conflicting feelings of wanting to contribute warred with the terror of leaving the camp. The morning sun broke through the horizon, shining through the dirty window. Time to go. No turning back. "Welcome to the team, Sue! Make sure you all keep your eyes open today so we don't have a repeat of yesterday's debacle. The list of meds and supplies the camp needs is a mile long, so let's get a move on." The three men, and the only other woman on the team, nodded after the leader spoke. Nobody seemed super enthused about heading out on this mission. Nausea overtook Sue, but she swallowed the bile, keeping her breakfast inside her stomach for the time being. She needed her strength to get through this day. Nobody uttered a word as they departed, fueling Sue's fears. She expected a grueling experience, dodging other scavengers and raiders who all wished them ill will. Would they find anything useful, or would their mission end in failure? They had to succeed at any cost. People counted on them. Stress shut her mind down, putting Sue on automatic pilot. Similar to commuting to work for the millionth time and not remembering driving your car. She followed the lead of the others, tuning out the world around her. Before Sue registered the setting sun, they had finished their mission. Success. "Nice job, everyone. We found almost every item on the list, along with working transportation. We'll get home before nightfall. Take a quick 5 for rest, and then we'll be on our way." A low cheer went up from the members of the scavenge party. Their faces showed a sense of relief rather than the worry from earlier in the day. They found most of the drugs in a pharmacy, along with a supply of canned food and bottled water in a convenience store. In the parking lot of the drugstore, they discovered a Dodge van from the 1960s. Jim found the keys above the sun visor, and the engine roared to life when he tried them in the ignition. He explained that the truck had no electronics because of its age, so the EMP hadn't affected it. Sue felt a sense of relief and pride as she helped load the supplies into the back of the van. It'd be a tight fit between all the stuff and the members of the team, but having the van would be a game changer for the camp, making the future scavenge missions easier. They laughed and joked as they loaded the van and drove back to the camp. Her fears of leaving the safety of the camp were for nothing. A hush fell across those riding up front as they rounded the last corner, revealing the camp before them. Sue sat way in the back of the cargo area, surrounded by boxes, so she couldn't see what the others could. "Oh, shit!" Jim spoke to Kirsch from the driver's seat, depleting the oxygen from inside the vehicle. "What the hell happened here?" A rhetorical question. Sue needed to know what he saw, fearing the worst based upon the tone of his voice. The brakes squealed as the van shuddered to a stop. "Now what?" Jim said. "I wish I knew. Everyone stay here while Jim and I take a look around," the leader said. Doors opened and everyone stepped out, even after the leader told everyone to stay put. She could feel the tension radiating from the others. Would they blame her for what happened to their camp? Sue tried to shake the paranoid feeling. The destruction of the camp slapped Sue in the face once she climbed out of the van. A broken-down front gate with smoke billowing from the destroyed buildings. None of the tents remained standing. 3 bodies swung from a tree in the center of the camp, taking Sue back to Dan's house after the attack, her first failure of the apocalypse. The gruesome scene drew the attention of the entire scavenging crew. Crows picked at the corpses as they swung in the late-day breeze like a grotesque wind chime. Bold red text decorated the sign tied around the middle body, an impossible sight to miss. "I told you I'd find you, bitch!" Her body shook as she read the words, a message for her. Sue pictured the man in the leather coat hanging it around the dead man's neck, just to taunt her. "You did this!" The team leader pointed at Sue as he screamed his accusation. Sue jumped before scanning the fearful eyes staring back at her. He might have been right, but she still couldn't help the feelings of heartbreak and betrayal because of his accusation. "She was with us, Dave. How could Sue be responsible for this attack?" Jim said. "Look around you, Jim. Read the sign. We didn't have any problems before Sue came to this camp. Do you want to face banishment with her?" "No, sir." Dave turned towards Sue, and she saw the regret in Jim's eyes. Nothing he could do to stop the team leader's wrath. Sue didn't blame them for being angry, since she hated herself for what had happened to these people. They had trusted her with their safety, but this attack happened because of her presence in the camp. Their kindness towards her doomed them. "I'll grab my stuff and go." "No, you will take nothing but the clothes on your back. Be gone, Sue, before we change our mind and enact our own justice for your betrayal." Tears flowed down her cheek as she staggered out through the damaged front gate. She cried for the dead and for her uncertain future. Sue needed to use her brains if she planned on surviving this mess. Keep moving. Live another day to spite them all.